Will you marry me? The billionaire CEO knelt before her in front of 500 people. But 6 weeks ago, she'd refused to even take his calls. This is the story of how 5 desperate minutes turned into forever. Clara's hands trembled as she stood in the Crown Ridge Hotel ballroom. Crystal chandeliers. Designer gowns. She didn't belong here. Then she saw him. Julian Blake. Her ex-boyfriend. Walking straight toward her with that predatory smile. Panic seized her chest. She couldn't face him. Not tonight. Her eyes landed on a stranger by the champagne table. Tall. Dark-haired. Standing alone. Clara did something insane. She walked up to him and blurted, "Can you pretend to be my boyfriend? Just for 5 minutes. Please." He blinked, then smiled. 5 minutes? I can do that. He took her hand just as Julian arrived. Clara Hayes, Julian sneered. I didn't expect to see you at an event like this. The insult was clear. Clara's face burned. But the stranger squeezed her hand and spoke. Really? Clara's invitation was one of the most deserved here tonight. Julian's smile faltered. And you are? Someone who knows talent when he sees it. Julian tried again. So Clara, still playing social worker? Still trying to save kids nobody else wants. The words hit like a slap. But the stranger's voice cut through. She changes lives. While some people write checks to feel important, Clara shows up every single day for abandoned children. She teaches them they matter. Silence fell. Julian and his girlfriend melted into the crowd. Clara turned to her fake boyfriend, really seeing him for the first time. Kind eyes. Genuine smile. Thank you, she whispered. I'm so sorry. I just panicked. He laughed softly. You look like you needed rescuing. Besides, everything I said was true, wasn't it? I'm Ethan, he said. Ethan Voss. They talked for hours. About her work at Brightside Community Home. About the kids. About small victories that kept her going. When the evening ended, Ethan looked at her with an unreadable expression. I wouldn't mind pretending again sometime. Clara laughed, thinking it was a joke. His smile suggested otherwise. 3 weeks later, Ethan showed up at Brightside in jeans and an old t-shirt. What are you doing here? Clara asked, bewildered. You said you needed volunteers. He came back every week. Played soccer with the kids. Fixed broken furniture. Made 7-year-old Maria smile for the first time in months. Clara watched him with growing wonder. Men like him didn't usually show up at places like Brightside. But Ethan was different. They started meeting for coffee, taking walks, sharing pieces of themselves. One rainy evening, Ethan drove Clara home after a storm knocked out power at Brightside. They sat in his car, rain drumming against the windshield. Clara, Ethan said softly. That night at the gala. I wasn't pretending. Not after the first 5 minutes. The confession hung between them. He leaned forward slowly. Their lips met. The kiss deepened. I've been wanting to do that for weeks, he whispered. Me too, Clara admitted. 2 perfect weeks passed. Then Clara saw the headline. Tech billionaire Ethan Voss donates $10 million to child welfare programs. Her hands went numb. Ethan, her Ethan, was the CEO of Voss Tech. Worth hundreds of millions. He was one of them. The betrayal cut deeper than Julian's cruelty, because this time she believed it was real. She called him, voice shaking. Why didn't you tell me? Clara, please let me explain. Explain what? That you've been slumming it at my community home? Was this all some social experiment? No. God, no. I trusted you. She hung up. Ethan showed up at Brightside the next day. Clara refused to see him. He came back again. And again. Sent flowers. Called. Texted. Clara ignored everything, throwing herself into work. The kids noticed. Maria asked why Mr. Ethan wasn't coming anymore. David said Clara looked sad all the time. She was heartbroken. 6 weeks passed. Clara received an invitation to the Spring Hope Foundation Gala, the same event where everything started. Brightside was receiving an award. Clara had to attend. She wore the same borrowed dress. But this time, she held her head higher. When her name was called, Clara walked to the stage on trembling legs. She spoke about the children, about resilience, about love transforming lives. The entire ballroom rose to its feet applauding. She was turning to leave when she heard his voice. Excuse me, may I say something? Clara froze. Ethan was walking toward the stage. He climbed the steps and stood before her, vulnerability written across his face. 6 weeks ago, I asked Clara for 5 more minutes. Tonight, I'm hoping she'll give them to me. The crowd murmured. I grew up in foster care. Ethan continued. Shocked silence fell. Bounced between 11 homes before I aged out at 18. I built my company to prove I was worth something. He turned to Clara directly. But success made people see the money before they saw me. Until I met you, Clara. You saw me. Just me. And for the first time in my adult life, I could breathe. Tears streamed down Clara's face. I should have told you sooner. I was scared of losing the one thing that felt real. But in trying to hold on to it, I lost it anyway. He knelt down, pulling out a small velvet box. The crowd gasped. Clara Hayes, I'm not asking you to pretend anymore. I'm asking you to build something real with me. He opened the box, revealing a simple diamond ring. Will you marry me? The ballroom held its breath. Clara stared at this man who'd hidden his wealth, but never his heart. Who'd shown up for her kids. Who'd seen her worth when she couldn't. She thought about Julian's cruelty and Ethan's kindness. About walls built from fear and bridges built from trust. About 5 minutes that turned into forever. Yes, she whispered. Then louder, crying and laughing. Yes. Ethan surged to his feet, sliding the ring onto her finger before pulling her into his arms. The crowd erupted. When they pulled apart, Ethan whispered, "No more pretending?" "No more pretending," Clara agreed. Sometimes the moments we fake become the ones that change everything. Sometimes asking a stranger for help is how love finds its way in. And sometimes, 5 minutes is all it takes to start forever. If this story touched your heart, I have dozens more just like it. Drop a comment. What would you have done in Clara's position? Would you have forgiven Ethan? Hit subscribe so you never miss these stories. And check out He Was a Cold Billionaire. Until a Broken Vase Changed Everything. It's in the description below. Because everyone deserves their own 5-minute miracle.